Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Crafty Quilting Designs. I hope you're well and having a really beautiful morning like I am. It's going to be a hot day apparently, so Carl has asked me to just be mindful and listen out for any announcement of any fires. So apparently today and tomorrow is going to be a very hot day. There are some fires already, not too far, but he's just a little bit concerned. So he's asked me to listen to the radio. So today I hope everything is going well for you. As I said, it's beautiful. The birds are singing and making lots of noises. I'm drinking some black coffee. And I thought I'll just come on the camera and have a little chat with you today. Well, at least this morning. So, how is everyone? I'm good, Karen. Yeah, I'm all right. How about you? I'm all right too. I've got to do some shopping today. Some food shopping, that is. Yeah. So, hence the reason for the makeup. I thought I'll make myself look a little bit presentable to go to the supermarket. It's a little bit chilly, not excessively, but just the morning freshness, really. I'm a bit of a warm girl. I like to be warm. So, I just thought I'll have a little chat with you. You know, I'm sitting here thinking about quilting, as I always do. But not so much about the actual, making something. More about how it makes me feel in a way, For some people, quilting can just be fun. It's really exciting. It's a piece of art. For others, it's a new skill. It's just a hobby, or it's a way of making money. Which I'm sure it can be very hard, as I know. But for me, sometimes it's a little bit reflective. I'll be honest about that. And I can certainly remember to certain times when certain quilts will bring back certain memories, feelings, emotions. And sometimes those emotions can be hard. For me, when I talk about if I have a quilt that I haven't quilted for a long time, or it needs quilting, or it's a UFO, I always say the story hasn't been told. Because for me, every quilt I make has a story. It may not be an in-depth story, but it certainly have a memory attached to it. And I think that's what I mean when I say it has a story. Some is exciting, some it's a learning process in that quilt. Some it's very emotional. Some is like really romantic, like the quilt I made for my husband. Because my husband makes the bed. And when he puts it on the bed, and he doesn't put it on all the time, so it's a little bit warm, so he doesn't add it. But as soon as the weather turns, he will always finish the make, because my husband loves to make the bed. He takes pride in making the bed, so that's his job. If he wants to do it, go ahead and do it. But when he makes the bed, and he always put the quilt that I've made for him on last. And sometimes I just smile with pride that he really appreciates it, because I tell you, I worked hard on that quilt. I remember having so much shoulder pains, when I was actually quilting it. I'll put a thumbnail in or a picture of it, so you know what it looks like. The quilt I made for him. But I feel a sense of really love when I see him do that, because I feel so appreciated that he loves it. And then there's other quilts that makes me feel a little bit sad because of the story or the memory that is attached to it. But in saying that, quilting is a way of being therapeutic. It gives you that emotional stress relief, and then it gives you that sense of creativity at the end of it. I mean, I say all of this to really give you some context in reference to, when my sister died, and the quilt I was making and how it actually made me feel. And do you know what, guys? I don't know why I just had this nerve or this energy to tell you. And I just thought, let me share it because I don't really talk about it much. And it has taken me a very long time to get to this stage. You know, death is, it can be private, it can be regretful, remorseful, it can be painful, and it can also have memories of this regretfulness. I wish I should have, could have said, you know. And sometimes I think that's the hardest part of a loved one dying. You think, well, what if I'd said this, or what if I'd done this, you know? And it's still hurtful. It really is. I'm sorry. I didn't expect to get emotional, but I did. You know, sometimes I think I'm fine, and sometimes it's just hard, you know. I still think about my sister. She was the youngest. But I think what makes me remember her is sometimes if I'm on Facebook, her picture will fly up. And that in itself is so crazy that, you know, somebody's gone, but yet their Facebook picture is still there. And sometimes it will pop up. And I see her face. And in the beginning, oh my God, I could not even look at her picture, but I can now. I can now. And I don't know why I got emotional, you know, but I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. But in reference to the quilt, you know, it has helped me. Quilting has really helped me. When my sister died, there was a quilt I was making, and guys, I tell you no lie, still to this day, that quilt has this memory attached to it. I don't even open it up and look at it. It really has gravitated to the story of my sister. And when I was told she was gone, this is a quilt I was making, and I still can't even pick it up. I'll show it to you, because I have to bring myself to open up this quilt and look at it, and not only just attach that sad memory to it, but also remember the fact that when I was making that quilt, in that moment, it was a healing process for me, because it allowed me just that small little private window of not thinking about the stress, the emotions, the death of what was happening. You know, so I really need to try and turn around that story for that quilt, because I don't even look at it. I don't even pick it up. When we were moving, I remember picking it up like this. And I know that may seem really silly to some of you, but because of the memory, the message it gives me, you know. But as I said, I really want to turn it around and have a better positive outlook on it, because in a sense, it was a healing for me. It was a healing to, as I said, separate the noise. Because you know you have noise in your head, isn't it? That all the memories, all the wishes, shoulda, coulda, why didn't I? Why didn't I call regularly? Why didn't I say this to her? You know, all these things that you get in your head. So I really want to try and change the narrative in my brain for that quilt. But it was healing for me to make that quilt, to look at it. And in the video, because there's a video for it, and I'll attach it for you to see as well. And it's a free pattern. I have never put that pattern up for selling, and I don't know why. So no, I've never sold a pattern, but it's free if you guys want to make it. I'll put a link in the description box for you. But you know, quilting is very healing for me. It brings about a sense of relaxation, detachment from daily life. And not that my life is bad, my life is brilliant. I am 110% blessed. But it just gives you that peace of mind, you know, so that you can find love, happiness in the motions of making the quilt, in the motions of quilting itself, and just weaving your own personal story into the quilt. I don't know if you guys can understand how I feel or how, and if you do, please drop me a line down below. Let me know. Am I being too emotional with the quilt? But it's very healing for me because the birds, hello, what? I'm talking to one of the birds. It's just literally there. Just flew on the fence. You can hear him. That's a magpie. It's gone now. They don't stay very long. But that sound is a baby magpie making noise, screaming for food. Let me show you the quilt. You see my face change because I know I have to go get it, touch it. But as I said, do you know what? It's not that it's negative. It's just that it holds that memory, because when I finished the quilt, I used to send the video to her, and she'd always be the first person to make a comment, you know, tell me what I should or shouldn't do, you know, because she was very good tech-wise, you know. And so we will have this whole conversation about quilting, and then we will have this conversation about husbands and children and everything else. My sister was the youngest. She just turned 40 when she died. And so it was a shock to my system. And to be honest, I have never really told anybody, because I'm a secret. I don't want to say suffer in secret, but I hide it. I'm surprised I'm opening up to you guys. So I guess the quilting itself is very therapeutic for me, because I can talk about it now. It really has been making quilts and, you know, creating that connection. So when I say quilting is my therapy, it really is, because it in that moment it did shield me. It did allow me to separate the pain. It did allow me to have my own little world where I can just forget everything else and just continue and focus on the quilt. And in the video, you would not have noticed that. You would never pick that up because I'm so good at hiding it. Even my husband didn't know. My ex-husband knew me a little bit. He used to call me and say, how are you, Karen? I know you know, you hide things. I remember I used to, on the way to work, I would leave home, say goodbye to Carl, leave home, and before I got to work, I would be in tears. And then, you know what I will do? Pat myself up, fix my makeup, and go into school like nothing happened. You would have never known that I was bawling my eyes out in the car. You would have never known that 2 minutes ago. It's amazing how we hide things as human beings, isn't it? You know, and I guess quilting in a sense allowed me to do that also. Just hide it. Because then I was happy, you know? I was happy in that moment. But looking back now, it has really healed my heart. It's not sad anymore to do that. So I'm gonna get the quilt. All right, I'll go get it now. All right, so this is the quilt. I don't even remember what I actually called it. This is probably the first time I've actually picked it up and held it like this. Since I've actually made it. Yes, I picked it up to pack it when we were moving, but I didn't look at it. And I guess all of the crease lines will be there very strong because I haven't opened it up at all. And the thing is, I spent so long quilting it because for the quilting, it was important to do it in detail, and every block is actually quilted. And it really took me, it really made me heal quilting this, because I was just in my own little world, and it made me happy being there. It really did. And so one of the reasons why I'm sharing with you is that if you're going through anything like this, then you can probably start quilting if you haven't, because it really does heal your heart. So I'm really happy to share this with you guys, because if God placed it on my heart to do this, because if I didn't, I would not have been able. And you know what? It actually feels good to do that, to just hold it. And I think I'm going to use it. Yeah, I think I'm going to start using it, because as I said, I've never opened it up. And it actually feels lovely and soft, cuddly, all the good things about a quilt. So thank you guys. Yeah, really, thank you. Because I would not have done this at all. I feel happy now. I do. Really beautiful. And the back is just completely white, and you can see all the quilting on it. So yeah, I'll link the video so you can see it. Look at me. Look at that. Started off crying, end up laughing. Ain't God good? So guys, I don't know. I just wanted to talk to you, and thank you so much for listening to me and healing with me, and being able to just say what quilting really means. It really is a craft that you can fall in love with, a sense of creativity, a sense of accomplishment, achievement, a sense of peace, a sense of being in the moment and experiencing all that quilting has to offer. It's not just, you know, as I said, it's for some people it's just fun, but for some people it's deeper. And I think this quilt made me realize that, how much deeper it can be for others, and certainly for myself. So when I say I love quilting, my gosh, I really do, because I know it has given me this ability to transition into something brand new, into something whereby I can be myself. So with that being said, I'm going to say bye, because I've got a quilt to show to you. And happy quilting, happy therapy quilting. And if you have any experiences like this, share with me. I want to know if I'm just the only one that feels like this, that was afraid to actually touch a quilt that I was making when my sister passed. Because without it, I don't know how I would have really coped, because every evening I came home from work, I worked on this quilt. And I was able to say, I'm all right, even though it was a tiny little lie. But in that little space, I really was all right. You know, I really was all right in that, however long that was, whether it's an hour or two, I just forgot everything and I was happy. So bye, happy quilting, love you lots, and I mean that. See you in the next one.